Hi everyone. I hope you are doing good. I'm Ashutosh from Godspeed Systems, and Ayush is here with me on this call, and we are going to talk about why to use Godspeed for your projects. Uh,
And as well see how to run Godspeed.
yeah, and we'll see a quick demo like how to get started with Godspeed and create a project maybe using MongoDB and Godspeed, a complete backend project.
So Ashu, how about we first tell them a little about what is Godspeed?
Yes, definitely. So Godspeed is a words first meta framework. It's a framework of framework where what we want to do is we want to streamline the process of building new products from the scratch, and it gives the developer some guardrails so that you focus on what, not how. So you build your business logic rather than making things work. Scaffolding the new project from scratch and everything. You focus on what you need to build.
Yeah. So basically, Godspeed is for developing microservices. So that's how the modern products are built using microservices, right?
Yeah.
So you make a Node.js application, it runs as a microservice in a big system. So there are many things we developers have to do and teams have to do as we build products. The job of Godspeed is to make it easier for you and faster for you and provide a guardrail like a path to walk on when developing good products and projects using microservices framework. So you could use Godspeed for your college projects. You could use it even in a job once you are in a job or for your startup as well. And while using Godspeed, you will learn a lot. That's one of another benefits of Godspeed is apart from saving your time, it will force you to think about good practices to follow when developing microservices based backends. So why to use Godspeed? So one is to learn.
Yeah.
Learn concepts you need to know, and it will help you crack your interviews as well, and just increase your knowledge. Second is to make your work easier. Another reason, and both these things, once you learn and you do your work easier, better, and faster, you will really go forward much faster in your journey to build products and solutions. So
Right.
that's about it.
Right.
So, if there are any questions, please feel free to type in here as well.
Yeah. So
Yes.
if you have any questions, feel free to write it down in the comment section. We are reading live comments, and
Ashu, how
yeah.
about we also tell them that Godspeed is the world's first and only meta framework?
Uh,
Correct?
yes.
So basically, Godspeed is world's first and only meta framework. So you must have worked with Node.js, correct? Or Bun.js. Then there is Java community which works with Spring Boot. So Godspeed basically how it makes the work easier is to give high level abstractions which are independent of Node.js or Spring Boot or Express as well or MongoDB. Okay, but you learn one way to do things and you apply it across multiple languages, multiple databases, and multiple scenarios. So there is the standardization that Godspeed brings to teams, and hence we call it a meta framework because it's a framework of frameworks.
Correct.
Mm.
Yeah. So let's talk about like how to get started with Godspeed.
Yep, let's have a done.
So sure. Okay. So let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay. So I just before we talk get into like getting started with the product, I just want you to take through what we all offer. You can go to our website and see we when we talk about being a meta framework, we actually cover backend, front end, CI/CD, platform setup, the monitoring setup, which is like kind of baked into the framework. So this comes from the day one. You can create business portals using some integrations of Godspeed. We have Godspeed GPT also, so which will help you while you are building your Godspeed apps, so which assist you to do things faster. And yeah, definitely, this is a tool for developers. From developers, we are a team based out of Dharamshala, and yeah. So if you want to get started, we have a pretty neat and nice documentation and easy getting started guide. There are videos for also to for your assistance. So like every concept you're learning about Godspeed, you can just go to the documentation, that particular section, and you'll find some videos, some documentation, some examples also to do that. So let me quickly create a new Godspeed project. There are videos, you can find it along if you're not following right now, but yeah. So let's talk about, so the creation of Godspeed, and things start from this tool called Godspeed CLI. You can install it from npm. Yeah, just globally install the Godspeed CLI. All right, let's see if we have it installed. Let me maximize it a little. Yeah. So this is the Godspeed CLI. You can consider as a command center of the whole Godspeed project lifecycle. From here, you create a project, you start your development server, you generate CRUD APIs automatically, you deploy some DevOps plugin, you add hotel support, you do Prisma things with the Godspeed. So this becoming the control center of the Godspeed. The journey starts from here. Let's create a Godspeed new project. I'll start with a Hello World project, a very simple one. So let me create Tag Mountains. I'm just creating a project. It's gonna install the dependencies and everything. Just hold on for a sec. Should I turn off my camera or it's fine? Okay. All right. So we just created a Hack the Mountain project. Let me go inside and open it in VS Code and show you guys what our Godspeed project look like. So many of you will be coming from a Node.js, or have you used Express, right? So if not, Express is kind of a, you know web server package for Node.js ecosystem. So if you have seen any Node.js project, this is again Godspeed core is a package. So this project is very similar to a Node.js project. It's no different, but we'll talk about abstractions and the functionalities it gives you to write write less and do more kind of a stuff. So let me talk about how, you know it's like, just to create a new Godspeed project, this is all it takes. You install the CLI, you create the project, and you are up and running. It already scaffold, wire up your project and everything. I have a project here, and I can just, it should have some events, maybe hello world. It has hello world event. So here I have exposed my event with this endpoint. Let's quickly run the server and see. Okay, let me see if my server is running. Starting. All right. My hello world is running on localhost. Let me call. Sorry, guys. See, voila, hello world. So let's talk about you know like what's happening behind the scenes. So you have seen, like, I just created a project. It's folded a project. I run the Godspeed dev. It create my hello world HTTP APIs and everything wired up and running. Right. So there are four pillars of a Godspeed. Uh, those are, let me talk about those, and I'm just giving, you can go through, there are detailed videos about it. I just want to give you a little introduction about the things. So there are event sources, and event sources are like from where all your events are coming, right? It might be from HTTP, you want to expose it at HTTP, or from message bus, or maybe through webhook, any from different places, right? So those are categorized at event sources, and from event sources what you get is exactly one event, right? So your backend system is responding to one event. So whenever, like in case of normal HTTP server, right, or maybe when you are trying to access a website, you hit a URL, you get the response, right? So that is actually one event. In response, your server is doing few things. So that becoming the events. And what happens? What do you do when you get an event? You perform some actions, you do some business logic, you do some computation, right? So that is called functions in Godspeed word, which is functions or workflow, you can say it. And from function, so when you are doing computation, right, you're not just doing some math on your server, right? Might be you are accessing some another API, or you are trying to do something like call a database, right? So those are called data sources. So let me talk about the abstractions, like how easy it becomes to just add few things. Like I want to add a new event source. So if you go to event sources, here you see I have a HTTP type of event source, which is of nothing but an express, which is running on port 3000. So this is, you get auto configured, and uh, this is plugin based, right? So all of you, like, I'm sure many of you have experience writing Node, or if not, some either Java, or somewhere you must have created any web server, right? So this is again Express plugin which Godspeed team manages. By the way, guys, we are source code available, so do check out our GitHub repo and leave a star if you like the stuff we do there. So there you can write plugins. You can see if, so Godspeed allow you to write more plugins also, right? So we have our interfaces. You come, you think that you can attach the Godspeed system to a very unique new API. So yes, hack around, come, we reveal your hacker inside and write some plugins. We'll be very happy to review. Then yeah, so when I define the HTTP type of event source, right, let me show you how I'm wiring up, how I'm making my hello world with this kind of event source. So what I did, I just created a hello world.yaml file inside events, and I said it's a HTTP type of event because we just created an event source. it takes the get method, and this is the endpoint, right? So whenever, that's how you define your event. So if I remove everything else here for a second, right? So that's your event. So you just added one plugin. By the way, guys, our team has already worked on some nice plugin installation assistant with the CLI. I'll show you guys in a moment. So yeah, that's how you just added a plugin here. Let me control Z everything. So whenever this event happens, I want to execute some function. And in this particular event, I'm going to accept a body which has a name of type string. So this is schema driven development, right? As you are typing, the framework do the validation also for you, and it generates the documentation Swagger API docs for you also. And then in the response, you're going to get an application slash JSON kind of a response. Okay, so that's how it is. Let's let me show you what how the function look like. So yeah, this is a very tiny hello world function which do nothing but just return whatever it gets, or it returns the hello word, say hello to you. Uh, so here you see it's not looking like a programming language, right? Because it's YAML. So what approach we follow is like you configure over code. So you don't code much, but you actually do a configurable style of things, right? So you might be thinking that, oh, is it limiting? But actually, it's not. It's a Turing complete implementation of in YAML format. So you can do all kind of computational stuff. And but sometimes if you're like, oh, I want to do more stuff, not just YAML, so you are allowed to just do scripting, JavaScripting anywhere you want. I'm gonna do maybe just concatenate hello, whatever I'm getting from the body. So I will write something like body dot name, right? So what I did, I just I'm accepting a name and I'm just concatenating it, right? So there are more functions if you want to see. There is a by the way, do install Godspeed extension also. That will help you to do all these things, the syntax highlighting, maybe some suggestions, and if you are doing some error while writing YAML. So that is also things. So right now I have introduced you to two assistive tech around the core packaging. One is the Godspeed VS Code extension called Godspeed language tooling, and the Godspeed CLI becoming the central point of every interaction and every all the task you do. So the Godspeed CLI. Let me introduce you to Godspeed plugin ecosystem. So if there is like you want to add a different kind of, you want to have a message queue like Kafka, or you want to create a cron app in your this thing, right? So you just do Godspeed plugin add, and you can access all the plugins available. So here you see one someone from our team created this thing called Mailer as data source or Excel as data source, right? So these are like very tiny and but very useful plugins. You can actually, while you are building application for your hack the mountain project, if you want to use something to not to be notified through emails, you can use this plugin. Or you want to use Excel as a database, you can use that. If you want to have caching, you can use Redis as data sources. So there are like lots of plugins available which you can use, right? And when you're using it, you are not getting lost into making everything work, but you are learning lots of concept along the way. So suppose you want to read about caching, right? So you want to set up a project which has caching enabled or which has Redis, right? So with the Godspeed, what you can do, you can actually learn these concepts faster because you'll not waste time to setting things, lots of things, right? But yeah, once you have set it up, you might be like, oh, I want to do something on from the scratch. Yes, that's fine, right? But if you get stuck in the starting of the setting things up, then it's gonna be a painful journey, right? So for that also, if you wanna use Godspeed for learning, it's a great tool. I would say, yeah, you should do that. So yeah. I was talking about Godspeed CLI. So let's try to create. Okay, so if you want to access databases, right? Let's see if we have any databases right now. So right now there is nothing, right? But I want to create. I want this my backend project. I want to access a database and do my data modeling and create APIs around that. So let's quickly do that thing. And if I can find Prisma schema. So for the database access, we use Prisma. If you want to read more about Prisma, it's a yeah. So it's a ORM, Node.js based ORM to access almost 7 to 8 kind of a different Prisma databases, and it's pretty neat and easy. It's like very intuitive. So let's see, like here, right here, you see it's a Postgres database defining, which has maybe a model and the user, right? So these are your tables. So let me talk about the beauty why we integrate Prisma with Godspeed. So you see, you just define this file, and then you say that they have a MongoDB variants also. So maybe I can just quickly show you guys. So what you do is like you copy this file. So what the beauty of Prisma is, you just define your database, right? You don't worry how I'll create the tables, how I'll set it up, how I'll sync, how I'll do the generator, right? So you want to create an app. You come here, you just create a Prisma file in your project. But right now, you see, we don't have a plugin to handle Prisma. So let me add a plugin. Okay, do we have a Prisma? Uh-uh. Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, so let me add a new file called PS and install a package. Or maybe I can actually, you don't have to do all these things. You can just quickly create a project using Prisma. Let's go to Godspeed Getting Started guide. There is a blog project. You can follow this thing, and yeah, see, there is a Godspeed project way of creating from examples also. So we publish few of the example, which is like your common cases, and what you can do is like let me create the blog app from Mongo as Prisma. Phone आ रहा है. So while installing, let me talk about Prisma schema. And so here you see model, right? So the model in Prisma is equivalent to having a table. So here you have defined, I want a post table which have all these columns, right? And this MongoDB is a so there is like I want to have ID, title, content, published, author, and the author ID, something like. And the author can be a user, right? Here, if you see it here. So what I'm saying, then there is another table which is related to every post will have one author at least, or it is again optional. So you can just read about how to define constraint in your DB, how to map. So that's the Prisma thing. So once you do that, let's see if our project is generated. Yes. So let me go inside the blog app and let's see if I have the newly created project here. I have, yeah. So there is already a Prisma file generated. And the same maybe it's a different one. Uh, you can just close this. Godspeed YAML. This is a sign that your plugin or extension is working fine. So yeah. So here it is looking for a Mongo test URL, and let set mongo test url somewhere in the db. If I have in my notes, let's see, I have my connection string. Yeah, so I just created my mongo test url. I don't have this thing, postgres. I can just remove it. And do I have events? I just have hello world event as of now, but we want to. So now I want to show you, like, as a team, when you're building, suppose in the hackathon, you're working on something like where it needs TB, you want to expose APIs, and the front end team is gonna use those APIs, right? So in those cases, you don't have to spend like lots of time building backend, right? If you want to actually convey your idea from go from 0 to 1, what you can do, you can just model the database using Prisma, and then Godspeed provides you some tools to auto generate. Just a second on this. Yeah, auto generate all our APIs, which we're gonna use it right now. So what I did in the data sources, I created a mongo.prisma file, and you can create from Mongo Atlas. You can create a free instance, get a connection URL to that. I did that. There is documentation, detailed documentation for that. You can go and check. And yeah, coming here, I added that thing into my environment variable, that connection string. This is my connection string, how I'm gonna connect to the DB. And let's see, use Godspeed CLI to maybe send thread API. Okay, so it scanned my data sources. It found there is a mongo.prisma file, so I wanna select that. Voila, like you see, it created a mongo folder inside that, and here it has post and user two files. So let's go to each file one by one. Yeah, so you saw that, like, what it did, it for every post, which is nothing but your one of the post in your DB, right? So what it did, it created five entry points, right? Like one is for searching, one is for fetching, one is for updating, one for deleting. So five endpoint it created for the post, like for every model. So actually, it generated the whole CRUD API for you, wired up everything, and just it is up and running. So now I have generated all the events. So let me do Godspeed Prisma prepare. Okay, it's not able to find connection strings. Okay, yeah, my bad. It's looking for Mongo test URL. My this thing is this. Perfect. So my client is generated. I have to do this Godspeed dev. My server is up and running. Let's quickly create a user and let's see if we can. Okay. So I need an email and maybe name and role, and I can just quickly. So what's your choice of tool? I use Postman a lot. So let's see where how can I create a user. So if I want to create one user, right? So this is the create endpoint. So let me define everything here. Okay, let's clean up those things. I don't want to save. Yeah. So my server is running on 3000. It's Mongo slash user. It's gonna be a post call. and what it all expecting me to send. Let's see. So it's sending me a definition of user. You can see it auto-generated definitions also for me. So user is expecting at least email, name, and the role of either user or admin, right? So I have set a name, email will be, shit, sorry. Okay, let me see if this is enough. Wow. So the user is created, right? So you see the create API is working fine. I just created a new user. Let's try out maybe getting this. So to get my user, I'm gonna do this is to create. I'm gonna do something like Mongo user and then send ID. So let's do all the things here only, right? So to get one user with ID, this is gonna be the endpoint. I paste this ID, the newly created user, pass this and send that request. We get that. Let's try to do update on this. So I send a put request for this user ID where I want to change my name. Ashutosh Tripathi. Perfect. Let's see if the get works on this. Yep, it got updated. Let's delete, send this user, delete. Perfect. Let's see if it still exists into the database. No, it's deleted. So you've seen like I just defined the whole Mongo database and then I created an instance somewhere on the cloud using Google Atlas. So you guys can also use it. It's a free service by MongoDB. Um, I did that and as a team, like for building my product, I just defined how the database should look like, right? And the Godspeed, using Godspeed GenCred API has generated all the endpoints. And now you see in less than maybe what time it is? Yeah, in less than 1 hour, we have one blog app running. All the CRUD APIs is there, so you can just focus on building front end. If your a way of thing is gonna be a mobile app, you can just focus on that. So you don't have to waste lots of time to set up your backend and how to make it work and everything, right? So you can use Godspeed to actually go and faster and deploy. Then you can do Godspeed build and then maybe deploy it to Vercel or AWS somewhere. Yeah, that's all. Guys, feel free to go through the documentation. It's a very detailed one. We tried to kind of explain things with some diagrams or like some code. Don't forget to, if you still have few questions, don't forget to join our Discord channel, which you can go to the Godspeed Systems website and you'll find a link to the Discord. Let me show you. Yeah, see here. Uh, if you end up using Godspeed and do try out, so this is our core package called GS Node Service, and come just leave a star. You can put it into the watch because team is working shipping new features, everything. We are right now 1.0.33 release. This is the old release, but we are already in v2. There are like lots of tooling around it, Godspeed extension. We are also working on generating your redux store from the schema you have generated, right? So think about the flow where you just define a database, you auto generate the backend, and from that backend APIs, you auto generate your front end stores, right? And stubs where so you just have to work on the component. So that's the space we are thinking of, That's the space where we are. And it is an amazing tool for learning and to actually do lots of. So we have clients who do use Godspeed. So like you guys are student, but they're professional, production ready. Almost 15 apps are running on Godspeed. So then once you'll get started, analytics, observing your backend, like what problem happened, and think about a scenario. If you build your app nicely and then you want to measure like why my create API is taking so much time, right? So all these things are like first class citizen of the framework of the Godspeed. So once you start using it, you can actually learn and go in many directions. So yeah, good luck with that. Feel free to reach out to us on Discord. Feel free to if you find any bugs or something, you have any issues, come open an issue. We allow you to open a new issue, report a bug, anything. um, our team is available on Discord. Very happy to help. Uh, that's all. Thank you, guys, and have a great. Just a second. Let me stop this sharing. Then let me talk to you guys. Yeah. If I get stuck. Okay, so Arun Kumar asked this questions. Awesome, thanks. Will be there anyone available from your team to help if I get stuck somewhere? Is there any community support available? Yes, we have 400 plus developers. We have almost 22 people's team who is gonna be very active during the Hack the Mountains community. Uh, Feel free to reach out to us. You can find the link on Godspeed website if I point somewhere on the top. And yeah, so there will be people. Even if you are attending Hack the Mountains in Gurgaon, like you are attending the this thing, there will be our representative team members. Actually, someone from the tech team is gonna be there. So if you are there, reach out to him. If you are participating online, reach out to us through Discord, write us email, however you feel like comfortable. So yeah, do that. Sujata. Okay. Thank you, Sujata. I'm definitely going to use this tool. Awesome. Awesome. We are always looking for the team. So right now I'm in Dharamshala and this like, my team members are here. The guys just say hi. There are a bunch of, developers gonna use that. And yeah, so yeah, someone from my team just passed. So yeah, guys, do use it. I hope it will increase your productivity. Definitely, definitely. So you see, Sujata, right? You just have to focus on few things to build like backends, right? And suppose you in the hackathon, right? We are talking here about specifically hackathon, right? You guys gonna have less time. So what you can do is use Godspeed to build things faster. So you actually represent your idea, and in lesser time, you actually come to uh, a place where you can actually do maybe focus on more on uh, front end, like to focus on what, not how. So how give that responsibility to Godspeed and build your ideas faster. Okay. So, meta framework on top of a framework. Yes, Krish, it is a top of a framework. It's like providing guardrails, not just from the back end, right? So you might have used frameworks on the front end, Vue, React, right? Those solve problem only on the front end side. Then you might have used framework like Express or maybe Happy. Those solve one specific problem, right? But what we want to create a framework which connects all these dots, right, to create a line. So as a live product, right, then observing, then deploying, right? So there are so many things. And framework, there are frameworks on every part of the thing, part of the system, right? So we want to cohesive integrate all those things, provide guidelines. So you are not just stuck to use Vue or React, right? If you want to in the front end, you want to use Vue or React, use whatever your team likes, whatever you think you'll be productive, whatever solve your use case, right? But Then you come to the backend, and then you are free to use even Java, right? So right now, what syntax you have seen here, Godspeed YAML, right? That's gonna also come into Java word. So there also you write the same logic, and that service is running into the Java container, a JVM, right? So that's the idea of. That's why we call it. It's a framework of frameworks. Yeah. Next.js is built on top of. Yes. So Next.js. Acha, Build.js is built top of Next. Okay, thank you. I'll check it out. Thanks for the information. Okay, so Build.js is built top of on Next.js. So uh, this is gonna be this framework for the UI, right? But here we are talking about connecting multiple language and framework eventually, right? So that's why it's a meta framework, and it don't talk about specifically only on the one field. What you see as of now is a microservice part of the things, but eventually it is gonna be a guardrails across multiple different projects or multiple different frameworks of different verticals of the whole software development life cycle. So yeah. All right. Thanks, Krish. Yeah, we I know about Astro, but yeah, again, the same thing. It only solve the problem of the front end. Astro don't allow you to don't talk about how to deploy and how to do all those things, or how to set up an observability on that thing, right? So yeah, it touches only one part of the whole stack. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. Have good time in Hack the Mountains. I wish you all the best. Yes, it is fit for production. There are people already using Godspeed V1 in production. Yes. So yeah, answer is yes. Arun, thanks. Okay, guys. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night.